Hi guys, it's Wayback Master here. Got a video for you today. We're going to be talking about how you can get a logo made or make a logo for your business or website, whatever it is. So that way you can get your branding on point and really get things to that level you want it to. So that way all your efforts are branded nicely and you've got a consistent image when you're online. Now, there's a few ways you can do this. There's no one right way. It depends on who you are, it depends on your budget, depends on so many things, but there's a few different avenues you can take, and I'm going to talk about these avenues and also a few specific places you can go to if you want to get this done. And that way, instead of just getting a general idea of where you can go, I can give you some exact action and you can just take that step and get things moving. So my first option I'm going to give you is to basically make the logo yourself. So if you don't have the money or in your budget to actually go out and get someone to do it for you, you may simply have to build it yourself. Now this is, it's not highly recommended unless you are fairly savvy with design, or maybe you are a graphic designer and you can definitely do it yourself. But if you're not savvy with design, it can be a good starting point, because at least if you have an idea of what you want in your head, you can build that logo, build things up, and then later on when you do have the money in your budget, hire a designer to polish it and get things looking the way you want. But there's more than one way to do this. You can start completely from scratch. Open up, you can go to use a program like Adobe Illustrator or Adobe Photoshop, or you can even just go to something like Canva. Now, while I do recommend you get what's called a vector file, which is a file that can be enlarged to any size, that would be using Adobe Illustrator. That method can be more difficult for beginners to use. So even a simple logo, as long as you make it high resolution enough in, say, Canva or Photoshop, should do the job. But there's actually a few other options you can go through if you want to make it yourself. You can go online and there are websites that allow you to log in and build a logo yourself by giving you things like emblems you can choose from that you can combine. You can type in your text, play with the font. They're more designed specifically for creating logos and are a little bit easier if you're a beginner. There are websites out there like BrandCrowd and Looker, and the way they work is you simply log in and there's a step-by-step process for you to basically build your logo, and then you pay a small fee to download all the files that you need. So a good example of this is BrandCrowd, where you simply log in and there's a simple step-by-step process. You get started, you can start picking bits and pieces of your logo and the emblem, you can start modifying your text, and then when you're done and you're happy with it, you pay a small fee and they send you all the files. That's pretty straightforward, very easy to do. I do recommend BrandCrowd if you want to check it out. There's a link below in the description. It is an affiliate link. I will pop a link up on the screen as well, but I do recommend this if you're looking for a way to get started and you're not savvy with a program and don't want to start from scratch. Okay, so the next option you have is to buy a pre-made logo. Now the way this works is maybe you're not looking to come up with something from scratch. Maybe you just want to find something you like, put your name on it, and then run with it. Now the way that you can do this is other websites out there. One is called Logo Mood. There's a few others, but you can actually go on there. There's a marketplace and you can actually go through, select a logo, buy it, and the designer of that logo will just add the few little customizations you need, maybe your name, maybe you want to change a color, and then they'll supply you with all the files so that you can start using that logo. Now one of the best things about this is that these websites, once you buy that logo, it's off the market. You're not buying a logo that someone else or 5 other people have used. They only sell once. So you do pay a bit extra for that, but at the same time it means that you get a unique logo. It's professionally designed, but you get to start pretty quickly because all you're doing is simply buying it off the shelf, getting the designer to make a couple of customizations, and that's it. So buying a pre-made logo might be a good option for you if you're looking to get started pretty quickly. Now if you do want to check out Logo Mood, I will pop a link up on the screen, but there is a link in the description also, along with a link to a blog post that accompanies this video. Has every tip I go through in this video. It actually has a list of websites you can go to and check out. So if you do want to check out those resources, I highly recommend you read that blog post. Simply scan through, find the information you want, and it'll send you to one of these marketplaces where you can buy a pre-made logo. The next step is, now if you do have the budget and you do have some money and time, go find a graphic designer. Now I highly recommend either finding one online by maybe going onto Facebook, going to a group, or asking your friends, does anyone know a good graphic designer? I want a logo made, and you'll get a whole bunch of comments people sharing the graphic designers that they use and that sort of thing. It's a great way to get good referrals to quality graphic designers, and then you can work with them one-on-one and really fine-tune the logo you want. Now, the other one is to simply do a search on Google. If you want to look for someone in the local area, just do a search for a graphic designer, name of your area. So if you're in Brisbane, graphic designer Brisbane, or maybe you're in a particular suburb, put that suburb there. So do a search on Google, or maybe ask someone on Facebook and get in contact with them. You'll either have to email or call them, and that way you can work one-on-one and really fine-tune and tweak your logo from there. You want to make sure that they are high quality though, so do check out their portfolio if you get the chance and see if there's anything there you like. Now, another option is to start a design contest. You can go to something like 99 Designs or even DesignCrowd, and you can actually just simply pop your brief up on there. So this is the logo I'm looking for, and a bunch of people will actually come up with designs and they will compete for that spot. So the way it works is you might go to say 99 Designs and say, I want a logo for my mechanic business. I want a picture of a car and it's called, car mechanic or something a bit more interesting than that. And then you might get 10 people sort of pop a logo on there, and you can actually then give feedback and say, hey, I like this one, I like that one, could maybe change this or change that. And then when you finally get someone do a logo you like, you can decide on that logo, and they get paid for their time. The only problem with this is obviously depends on whether you're happy for people to work on a logo and then not pay them because you've got 9 people who do miss out. So that is one downside to it, and a lot of graphic designers don't like that. But if it suits you, pop on, get a design contest, because people are hopping on there freely, understanding that risk. So yeah, 99 Designs or DesignCrowd, great place to run a design contest for your logo. Now, another option is to find a freelancer. Now, the reason I find this to be a different tip to finding a graphic designer, say through Facebook or on Google in your area, is that I'm talking about going on to freelancing websites like Fiverr or Upwork or something like that and finding a designer there. Now, it's a completely different situation than getting a local designer. Even though the process may be similar, what you're looking for is you want to find a quality designer, and the results may be different, because if you're getting someone at a smaller country, say like India or the Philippines or something like that, you may find there's a different communication. There could be communication barriers. You may get a good result for the money you pay, because you may get a much cheaper service because of the fact that they don't need to work for as much money. Doesn't mean you're necessarily going to get poorer quality. You can get some very good designs from cheaper services. But at the end of the day, speaking generally, you're probably going to get what you pay for. But if you're not looking to get a really sharp logo, or you've got a pretty good idea of what you want and you just need someone to put it together, going on one of these sites might be the best way to do it. And you might be lucky enough to find someone there who is a really good designer, doesn't charge a lot of money, and get that nice sort of gold nugget of cheap service with high quality results. So that's another option if you're looking to save a bit of money. You do take a risk with it, but it is worth checking out if you're comfortable doing that. Now, my final tip is actually not to do with actually where you can get your logo done, but just make sure you're happy with your logo. Make sure you get a good quality logo, because one thing which I did state in a recent video about my rebranding is the earlier you can get things right, the better and easier it's going to be. Because if you build a website, you get a Facebook page, you get some letterheads printed, you get business cards, you start doing all these things, and then you change your branding down the track because you finally then have the money to do it. Still do it. You definitely want a strong brand, but then you've got to make sure you change everything, because sometimes you end up with a situation where you've got some things have got the new logo, some things have got the old logo, and it just ends up being this kind of like choppy changes situation until you eventually get everything right where it needs to be. So the earlier you can get your logo right, the better. Make sure it's clean, make sure it's unique, make sure it tells a little bit of a story about who you are at a nice visual first glance. Keep it simple. You don't want it to be too overcomplicated. You don't want any crazy effects. It really needs to be iconic, simple, and stand out. Doesn't even have to have an emblem. It can just be a nice simple text logo. Now, if you do want to learn how to make a simple text logo in Photoshop, I do have a link below in the description that you can check out, and it just runs you through how you can sort of set that up for yourself for your website. It could be a great way for you to get started. Okay, but for now, just make sure you get that logo is good quality. Make sure that you're keeping it simple. Also, make sure that if you are paying someone to do that logo for you, that you get high quality vector files and high quality bitmaps. So that's AI files, EPS files. You want to get a transparent PNG for your website. You want to get a JPEG. you want to make sure you're getting at least a selection of files you can use for commercial print, commercial use, and also for private use and website use. So once again, if you want to check out this in more detail, I do have a blog post on this, which I'll pop a link to on the screen. Now, this will actually go through all the tips I've just gone through. It also has a sort of resources and links, so that way you can click through and check out some of the websites I mentioned, plus a few more, and also those tips at the end just to go through what a good logo is. That way you're going to make sure you get high quality, and you're going to be happy with what you get, and it'll also tell you what files you need to get. So that's all in that blog post if you want to check it out, so you don't have to just remember what it is I'm saying. You can actually go to that blog post, bookmark it, save it, print it, do what you need to do, go from there. Alright guys, that's the video for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want more content like this, please consider subscribing. And of course, if you've got any other options that you think should be included in this, or any questions, please leave a comment below about that, and I'd love to talk about it. Also, what should we do in the future? If you've got another idea for a video you want me to go through, pop a comment below on that as well. And I love to continue this conversation there and keep it moving. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.